Hello guys, my name is Prince and this is Math Center. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. Post your comments and questions on my social media handles and I'll respond to it. We are still on the topic mensuration. In the previous video, we learned how to find the area and perimeter of a trapezium. In this video, we are going to learn how to find the area and perimeter of a rhombus. A rhombus is a parallelogram with equal sides. So the diagram we have here, A, B, C, D, is an example of a rhombus. It looks like a parallelogram. The only difference is that it has equal sides. That means that the length DC is equal to the length AB. So represented by this bar here and this bar here. In the same way, the length AD is equal to the length BC. So AB is equal to DC and is equal to AD and is equal to BC. So just as it were for squares, we learnt in squares that all the sides are equal. For rhombus also, all the sides are equal. So for a rhombus, it's a parallelogram with equal sides. If I call the distance AB, if I call that L, that means that this side here is also L because DC is the same as AB, and AD is also L, so BC is L. So each of the sides is L. It means that the perimeter of this rhombus here will be L plus L plus L plus L, which is 4L. So the perimeter of a rhombus is 4L. We also learned that the perimeter of a square is 4L because all the sides are equal. Rhombus has all its sides being equal, so the perimeter of a rhombus is 4L, where L is the length of the side of the rhombus. Okay, let's say that for this particular rhombus, H here represents the height. The height is the perpendicular distance from DC to meet AB. So the perpendicular line drawn from DC to meet AB is the height. So whenever you talk about the height, you are referring to the perpendicular height. So this distance here represented by H, that is the height of the rhombus. We want to find the area of a rhombus. If you have the length of the side and the height, the area of a rhombus is L times H. That is the length times the height. That is the area of the rhombus if you have the length and the height. So the perimeter is 4 times the length and the area is the length times the height. There are two formulas for finding the area of a rhombus. One of them is length times height. You use it when you are given the length and height of the rhombus. The other one is using the diagonals. If you draw a line from A to C, it's called a diagonal of the rhombus. If you draw another line from B to C, it's also called the diagonal of a rhombus. So you see that a rhombus has two diagonals. In this diagram here, one of them is AC and the other is BD. If you are being given the length of these diagonals, then the area of this rhombus is half times the product of the diagonals. That is half times the length of AC times the length of BD. So if you have the length and height, the area of a rhombus is length times height. If you have the length of the two diagonals, the area of the rhombus is half times the product of the diagonals. So in this case, half times the length AC, which is one diagonal, times the length BD, which is another diagonal. One very important thing you need to note about the diagonals of a rhombus is that the diagonals bisect each other at right angles. So for this particular rhombus here, the diagonal AC will divide the diagonal BD into two equal parts. So because the diagonal AC meets the diagonal AD for this particular rhombus, is going to divide it into two equal parts. In the same way, the diagonal BD will divide the diagonal AC into two equal parts. That is what we mean by it bisect it. It also says that they bisect each other at right angles, which means that the angle formed at where they meet is 90 degrees. So the angle formed here is a right angle or a 90 degrees angle. So that means that their point of intersection here is a right angle. The angle formed there is a right angle. The point also says that and also bisect the opposite angles. What this means is that the diagonal AC, the angle that is formed at point C here, this diagonal AC will bisect it. It means that the diagonal AC will divide the angle here into two equal parts and to divide the angle here into two equal parts. In the same way, the diagonal BD will divide the angle at D into two equal parts and the angle at B into two equal parts. These are very, very important properties of a rhombus that you need to know and understand. Let's use what we've learned so far to solve a question. The length and height of a rhombus are 4 centimeters and 3 centimeters respectively. Find the perimeter of the rhombus and area of the rhombus. So we have the length and height of the rhombus as 4 centimeters and 3 centimeters respectively. It means that the length is 4 centimeters and the height is 3 centimeters. And we are supposed to find the perimeter and area. So we have the length as 4 centimeters and the height as 3 centimeters. The perimeter of a rhombus is 4 times the length. The length is 4 centimeters. So the perimeter is 4 times 4 centimeters, which is 16 centimeters. We have been given the length and the height. So to find the area of the rhombus, we are going to use the formula area is equal to length times height. If you have the length and height, this is the formula you are going to use. So the area is equal to the length times the height. The length is 4 centimeters and the height is 3 centimeters. So you have 4 centimeters times 3 centimeters, and that will give us 12 centimeters squared. So the perimeter of the rhombus is 16 centimeters and the area of the rhombus is 12 centimeters squared. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel for more videos. In the next video, we are going to solve another question on finding the area and perimeter of a rhombus. Bye bye.